The PDP national chairman, Uche Secondos, cast his ballot at his polling unit in Andoni local government area in Rivers State. He lamented delay to the start of the election. Voting started around 4 p.m. at his polling unit. He called on the Independent National Electoral Commission to bear responsibility for the delay, as every eligible voter had the right to cast their ballot. He also complained about difficulty in the operation of the card readers, despite assurances by INEC before the election.
All the good citizens of my ward and my polling unit have been waiting since morning. People rolled out and came out early in the morning, but there was no material. The officers have not arrived from the LGA headquarters. They just arrived now, and I'm voting by 4 o'clock. And it is very painful that the material came when it came, and we are starting voting very late. Whether it was deliberately done or not, I think that the INEC must bear the responsibility that no one should be denied of their right to vote, because it's a civic responsibility by all good citizens of Nigeria. And Ikuru Town, Ward 5, Andoni local government, and my polling unit, they are part and parcel of this country, and we should not be denied. You can see that the car readers also, it was difficult for those who are operating it to even operate the card reader. And these are some of the things, issues that we have raised over and over with the Electoral Commission. And they had promised that everything was in order and is going to be perfect. But as you can see, as a journalist, that this is the time I am voting.
Meanwhile, the APC chairman, Adams Oshomole, also voted today in Esako West local government area of Edo State. Addressing reporters afterwards, he noted that the election was delayed in his polling unit, but that when it began, it showed the determination of INEC to deliver on its promises. He also said the process of election is just as important as the result.
The turnout here today is totally unprecedented. And I think some of you who have witnessed previous voting here, you will agree that this has been almost 300-400% more in terms of turnout. I'm very happy. I'm happy to see women with little baby on their back, not deterred by that, coming here to queue, which is why we have always saying that the Nigerian woman deserves more respect. You see those women with their small baby on their back, you know, I'm touched. I think so far so good. But, you know, they say it is never over until it is over. For now, I am satisfied with what I have seen here, but I understand they didn't start by 8, which I don't know why they should have started by 8, but they say better late than never. They have started, and the young men and women I saw there, they appear to be doing their very best to ensure that all those who turn out to vote are able to vote. I have confidence. You know, what is important as Nigerians at this hour is not the outcome. The outcome is important, but even more important is the process.
And let's look at how some of the governors voted and their immediate reactions to the electoral process. Our correspondent, Shola Shiele, has the report.
We start from the South-South zone, where our correspondents report a large turnout of voters eager to exercise their civic duties. Governor Godwin Obaseki and Governor Ifeanyi Okowa of Edo and Delta States are impressed with the crowd here. The governors of Rivers, Cross River and Bayelsa states also joined the crowd to vote. In the southeast, we caught up with the governor of Enugu State as he cast his vote. After voting in his local government, the governor of Imo State, Rochas Okorocha, expresses satisfaction with the voting process.
Everything is going on well as stipulated, and there's enough security everywhere. So I think this will be a free and fair election, I believe.
These views are echoed by the governor of Anambra State, Willie Obiano.
My wife and I just cast our vote, performing our civic responsibility. You can see it's very orderly here.
In the southwest zone, Governor Kayode Fayemi of Ekiti State, Governor Kiwumi Ambode of Lagos State, and Governor Abiola Ajimobi of Oyo State all applaud the election process.
I consider it very orderly. And to my mind, it is credible. Our people, they've been demonstrating a lot of decency. You could see everybody smiling at everybody.
Everything has been relatively smooth. The card reader worked perfectly. The process was smooth. The officials were disciplined, and the voters were orderly in their conduct.
We want to commend INEC. I mean, they've been up to the task, and almost everywhere election materials are in place. And you know, this election is going to be very peaceful, and I pray it's very successful.
Their counterpart in Ogun State, Governor Ibikunle Amosu, calls for patience, especially with the technical hitches.
We actually had it took some time for the card reader. In some instances, the card reader failed, but clearly, I think it's a process that once we are patient like this, we will overcome.
In the North Central, the governor of Pt.2 State, Simon Lalong, describes the process as peaceful.
We don't have any problem anywhere. If we have a problem as a chief security officer, I should have known up to this morning. So everything is going very peaceful in Pt.2 State.
On their part, the governors of Gombe and Borno states in the northeast continue to encourage their people to stick with the process.
Because we have to send a message loud and clear to the insurgents that they cannot stop us from performing our civic duties. They cannot prevent us from leading our normal lives.
We round off in the northwest, where the governor of Kano State, Abdullahi Ganduje, has also commended the process.
The election, as you can see, is orderly. The election is peaceful, and the election is free of any trouble, as you can see.
His views are echoed by his colleague in Sokoto State, Aminu Tambuwal.
The voter turnout is very massive, it's very large. That clearly underscores the enthusiasm and the interest of the people of this community in who governs them and in a free, fair, transparent, credible, democratic process.
For the governor of Kaduna State, Nasser El-Rufai, the process was not so smooth.
There were issues with the card reader. Even when the second one was brought, it was malfunctioning. But happily, INEC did something to fix the problem, so we started voting late.
The Kebbi State governor, on his part, has a suggestion for INEC.
We have to recognize that elderly people holding 3 huge ballot papers at the same time can be a tedious thing, and they can easily destroy their ballot paper unintended. So I urge INEC to allow people to be assisted by a family member or a loved one who is not interfering with your right to choose.
Despite their experiences, the governors are all optimistic that the process will be credible. Shola Shieli, Channels Television News.
There's been violent attacks in Gaydam and Buniyadi communities in Yobe State today. And following these attacks, Governor Ibrahim Gaydam has immediately ordered more deployment of security operatives to the areas affected. Although the governor was unable to travel to his Bukarti ward near Gaydam town to vote, elections held in other parts of the state. In a press release from the government house, the decision to pull out more security was hinged on the fact that there was need to protect the people instead of devoting large security contingents to escort the governor to cast his vote. The governor commends the people for turning out in large numbers to exercise their civic responsibility. Residents in the Federal Capital Territory joined the rest of Nigerians to decide the country's representatives at the National Assembly and the presidency. Apart from a few glitches, such as late arrival of voting materials, most of the polling units went on with the exercise. Our correspondent, Amaka Okafo, reports.
Residents waiting for polling materials and officials to arrive at the AYA polling unit in Abuja. This did not happen until 9:30 a.m. It was discovered that there were already some printed ballot papers in the ballot boxes. The explanation given by the INEC officials who spoke off camera is that they were initially at a wrong polling unit in Area 11. There, over 100 people had already cast their votes before they realized and moved to the AYA polling unit, which turned out to be the right polling unit. The voters at AYA insist that the already cast ballots should be destroyed and voting should begin afresh.
About 100 of us, we voted, and then some of us left. So, but me, I was worrying about. So I came back. After I came back, I didn't see anything. So there were people that were looking for their polling unit over there. So they said, let's check here. As soon as we came here, everyone was shouting and saying that, no, our votes need to be cancelled. And they've already authenticated and we voted. That means over 100 of us or 150 of us are our votes are not going to count. And that's not fair to us.
Eventually, the officials decided to cancel the initial voting and start afresh. In the Karu area, a satellite town in Abuja, voters turned out en masse to vote for the candidates of their choice. However, some voters had difficulties locating their polling units earlier in the day.
So many people don't know where they are voting. Example, there's a woman here who she doesn't know where she's voting, but the INEC officials is describing where she will vote for her.
In some polling units, including Gidam Mangoro and Customs Quarters polling units, INEC officials arrived on time with electoral materials. Accreditation and voting started in most polling units at about 9 o'clock in the morning. Most voters expressed satisfaction with the process, including the efficiency of the card readers.
2015, the card reader could not pick me, so I was a victim. And this time around, as soon as they slot my card to the card reader, it picks my name.
In the Maitama area, voting started late. Many of the residents were already at the voting unit by 7 a.m., but election materials arrived at 7:45 a.m. and while they were being sorted out, some of the international observers arrived at the polling unit. One card reader failed in the process of voting, and a backup card reader was sent for the unit. Our crew also ran into some first-time voters and some who had voted for over 3 decades. They share their experiences.
This year is different for me because I think I was just tired of sitting on the sideline and complaining and tweeting. I wanted to be part of the process. I wanted to be part of the decision makers. I wanted to be part of the people that would decide who decides for us.
Okay. Right from the time of Shehu Shagari, I voted. I was 18 by then.
The election umpire had postponed the election last week for logistics reasons. It is hoped that the extra week will deliver the desired result by all Nigerians. Amaka Okafo, Channels Television News.